Baladev Vidyabhushan. So he's a really important acharya in our lineage, Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage. So important, Srila Prabhupada, when he wrote his Bhagavad Gita as it is, when he compiled, he dedicated that to Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan. So what makes him such a special acharya? Because he protected the identity of our Gaudiya lineage. How it happened? So after the Goswamis and then after the initial acharyas following Narottam Das Thakur and everything, the prominent acharya was Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who's like a very elderly person that time. And then they were all in Vrindavan. And then what happened in Rajasthan, another province in Bharat? So there was a significant doubt raised on the credibility of the Gaudiya lineage. They said that, oh, worship of Srimati Radharani is not that bona fide, and then everything. So these doubts were raised by another prominent lineage that time. So they are called Ramanandis. They are also worshippers of Lord Vishnu. So they were not happy with the worship of Srimati Radharani. So in Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the core is like we approach Krishna to Srimati Radharani. So then it was like a big attack on our, not sort of attack, but a challenge to our lineage. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was too old. He was the leader of the Sampradaya, but he was too old to travel and then intensely debate. So he appointed Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is his foremost disciple, very surrendered soul, to handle this matter. And then, so the Ramanandis, they said that, look, we are okay if you have your own commentary on the Brahma Sutras. So the Brahma Sutras are the basic guidelines of which Srila Vyasadeva gave. So if you have your own commentary on the Brahma Sutras, then we are okay. So, and it's not an easy task. Brahma Sutras are the basic core fundamentals of the spirituality. And then we need to have our own, the Gaudiyas need to have their own commentary. So that's what was the request. And then so Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, he sat at a bank, a river bank, and then he meditated on the Lord. Please help us, he meditated on Lord Krishna. Please help us protect the lineage where Srimati Radharani is worshipped. So, and then it is said by the mercy of Guru and entire Parampara, Lord Krishna personally appeared and then he spoke a commentary on the Brahma Sutras. And then that is for 7 days he spoke. It's not easy. It takes years and years to get a commentary, and hardly there are 2-3 commentaries. Ramanujacharya made one commentary, Shankara made one commentary. And then seeing that in 7 days, Baldev Vidyabhushan got that commentary on Brahma Sutras, or very short span, exactly, I don't know, 7 days. And then he gave it to Ramanandis. And they were said, okay, you got the commentary. They were surprised that, such a powerful commentary, and then in a short span of time. So they understood that they're really being sheltered by Lord himself. So they didn't raise any further argument. And that's how the credibility of Gaudiya Vaishnavism is established. The worship of Srimati Radharani, the authority of it is established. And since Lord Govinda personally came and then he spoke this commentary, so this particular commentary is called Govinda Bhashya. Just like Ramanujacharya, what he spoke, the commentary on Vedanta Sutra, so that is called Sri Bhashya. And then this is our Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this is Govinda Bhashya. And because of that Govinda Bhashya, our Sampradaya is like protected, taken care of, and then the reputation is retained. So Prabhupada is so grateful to Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan. So he dedicated his prominent work, Bhagavad Gita as it is, to Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan. And then from that time onwards, our sampradaya is respected, and then so much. So we are very grateful to our acharyas, what they had to go through in order to sustain the sampradaya, and then the fruits of which we are reaping today in New York. So that is about Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. My takeaway is that when we do our part, Krishna comes through and bail us out. Thank you, Krishna Daya. What about Ganga Puja, the other occasion?
Uh, I can't remember exactly about Srila Ganga Mata Goswamini. I don't want to speculate. Uh, uh, if I am correct, actually, she was in one of the assembly of a great devotees, and then she was so absorbed in chanting of the holy names that she could not stop chanting holy names during Bhagavatam class. And then some people started commenting that, oh, you should not do that, you should focus on the class, or you should stop chanting like that. So she left that place. She's a very exalted devotee. And then that time that was not her name, but later she was given that name, Ganga Mata Goswamini. I'm not able to recollect more anymore. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Yeah, our bhajan, our chanting never stops. Sometimes it may take a different form, but in essence, it's always glorification of the Lord and seeking the Lord's mercy, seeking service to the Lord and His devotees. Adokshaji Prabhu, thank you so much for being quiet while Krishnadaya Prabhu was glorifying Krishna.
And one great lesson from her we can take is, she's very exalted, but people misunderstood her, and she didn't try to prove her point, because
Yeah.
it didn't matter to her. She left that place. So that's what exalted spiritualists, they don't need to prove themselves, because Lord is there in their heart, so they're always happy. And then rest of the world later understands. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Krishnadaya Prabhu. What if another Vaishnava is being treated or being wrongfully accused? Should we stand up for them?
Yeah. So that's what Jiv Goswami did. When the reputation of his spiritual master is at stake, so he stood for it, and then yeah, many times devotees stand. Srila Prabhupada, just like Baldev Vidyabhushan, what he didn't stay quiet. He went ferociously. He fought. I mean, he argued with the Ramanandis. So the reputation of the entire lineage is at stake. So Baldev Vidyabhushan didn't give up, so it didn't go into Nirjan Bhajan. So when it is needed, so we stand for it, and then still we take a humble stand. We don't know what's Lord's plan. So yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, dear devotees, it's our turn to dance. Please, Krishna is sending us a no-show 2 days in a row. So let's dance for him. Krishna is playing tricks on us. Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. You saved our little sampradaya. Thank you. Okay, Adipusha Prabhu. Despite the background, we still want to hear from you.
Oh, I just changed the background. That's not right. Hello?
No, there's. Oh yeah, yeah, it's gone now. Good. Finally. Thank you.
You can hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, another glorious day of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan Yajna. This is not something theoretical. This is something that we can jump into. And recently, we had two different devotees in the last few days who approached us in great distress, expressing anxiety and apprehension about their service conditions. And it's interesting to remember. We're actually reading in Bhagavad Gita yesterday that if we forget that we are a spiritual soul, then the external conditions will disturb the mind and will begin to worry. But the soul is not burned by the fire, cut by the sword, withered by the wind, moistened by the rain. We're untouched. And we were talking about yesterday about the story about the Uncle Tom's Cabin, which is a little book that we were compelled by the school system to read. And I thought that the story was about slavery, but Nityatita encouraged me to read. See, read this. This is a very deeply spiritual book. And Tom was a slave in Kentucky, which is part of the northern part of the South, the northern part of the South. And there, slavery was kind of just like all the slaves are living on the plantation. They're working together. They're living in a community. It's peaceful and happy. There's no abuse. And he was like a patriarch of the community. He was like a pastor, actually, a religious leader. But then the person who owned the farm fell into terrible debt, and the person that he owed the money to came and said, okay, I'm going to take your plantation. And he would say, no, don't take my farm, He said, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll take 10 slaves, and I'll take that big one, Tom. So the slaves were put into chains, and they'd never been in chains before. And they were put on a barge going down the Mississippi River to the deep South, where the slaves were treated very cruel, lots of cruelty, and they often didn't even live for 4 years because they were like worked to death. So he was lamenting. He was lost his home, he lost his community. He was going into a difficult, unpredictable, distressful condition, and he was crying. And in his lamentation, he called upon the Lord, and he said, Lord, I heard that there is a thing called the peace of Christ, the peace that surpasses all understanding, the peace that transcends whatever the external conditions are. That's what I want, the peace of Christ. And because of that prayer, he began to realize, okay, well, I said, Lord, I'm yours. I'll go wherever you want. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And now he's doing this. And he said, I will rejoice in this painful condition. And he began to sing. And everyone began to sing and praise the Lord. And then he wound up, a lot of things happened, but toward the end he was sold into this farm with Simon Legree, who was a terrible taskmaster, whipping the slaves in terrible living conditions, dirty, bad food, and the slaves were even treating each other badly. So Tom said, oh, now I see what you're doing, Lord. You want me to preach. You're putting me in this situation so that I can remind people of something beyond the external conditions. And he created like a revolution. And the slaves became very peaceful and joyful, and they were always singing when they were working, and the external conditions didn't bother them. So sometimes Krishna will move us. Something we didn't prefer, we're not comfortable about, we didn't expect, it doesn't seem, very appealing. But if we have the peace of Christ, if we're peaceful, whatever Krishna does, and just say, thank you, Lord, not just tolerating the condition, but thanking the Lord for whatever's happening to us, and saying, Lord, how can I serve you under this circumstance? And that's our satisfaction. So those are some of the conversations we had the last few days with these two devotees. And interestingly enough, both of them, I was grateful to see that they were appreciating this principle that the external conditions are not what we're trying to manipulate, but we're we're trying to focus on is our response to what Krishna sends us, and to trust, like a kitten being carried by the mother. Doesn't know where it's going, can't control. The mother has the kitten by the scruff of the neck, but the kitten is confident. My mother is taking care of me. I can relax. Whereas if we have the mentality of a rat in the mouth of the cat, then we're only thinking, oh, now I'm in deep trouble. Anyway, that's all we have to share today. We pray to Prabhupada what to say. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And would anyone else like to speak?
Um, I see Venumadri Devi, she raised her hand.
Oh, yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Krishna Daya. And all glories to Adi Purush. Thank you for that tale about the peace we're seeking. But I had a question for you, Krishna Daya, not to put you on the spot, but what are the main differences in that Brahma Samhita? Wait, let me take the headphones off. What are the main differences in that Brahma Samhita commentary that you were referring to? Like, are there sort of main points in it, or was it just the fact that, you know, if you were going to be a legitimate sampradaya, you needed one, and it was more about having one versus it being, you know, different than others?
Yeah, yeah. So there are two things, like the root cause for it. They said the worship of Srimati Radharani, the Ramanandis, so they are a part of the Sri Vaishnava thought. It's all a thought process which is given directly by the Lord in different moods. So the Ramanandis, they are a part of the Sri Vaishnava sect. So they don't have the conception of worship in the mood of love. Worship in the mode of surrender is what they mainly practice, reverence. But worship in the mode of love is not apparently present in that particular lineage. So they felt worship of Srimati Radharani is not authorized because Srimati Radharani never formally wed Lord Krishna. So that was their issue. And and when they said, if you can establish the commentary on the Brahma Sutras or the Vedanta Sutras, so from the perspective of that mood, the mood of love, so then we will accept. So because these are some truths, the Brahma Sutras are some truths, but when we give commentary, the commentary contains the mood with which. So there are three prominent, if I'm correct. So one is the Shankara Bhashya. So Shankaracharya gave. So the same truth, the same lines or the Mahavakyas. So they speak from a different perspective. Oh, this refers to the impersonalism. This shows that God doesn't have form. That's what the conclusions Shankaracharya drew. So that's why it's called Shankara Bhashya. And refuting that, Ramanujacharya wrote a commentary called Sri Bhashya, where the same lines have different meaning.
Okay.
So that's what Sri and then Govinda Bhashya established that Lord is not just having a reverential mood, but also has a more mellow. It interacts with his devotees in the mood of conjugal love. So the moods, basically, it's all the moods, the same lines, but you see Srila Prabhupada's commentary, and then there are other acharyas. There are other acharyas commentaries also. The same verse, but the commentaries will be different. It's like the inspiration what we get, and then the mode with which we worship. So the commentaries follow. So
And
the
so
purpose.
the commentaries therefore are they're focusing both on the sort of mood of conjugal love and love in general, and do they also, and forgive my ignorance, obviously I haven't read it, that they seek to
establish Radharani's position, or is it more just the mood of love and conjugal love?
Honestly, I should admit I didn't read the entire thing. I heard, so that's what I'm speaking. So I'm in a position to come answer.
Okay. Maybe
But
after we're done with Srimad Bhagavatam in this class, when we finish all the cantos, we can move on to that.
yeah,
Hare Krishna.
yeah.
I have a question for Adipusha Prabhu. When a devotee comes to you with a real problem, with a real distress situation and a real challenge that they're going through, and then you tell them that, don't worry, Krishna is your best friend, it's all good. How do they handle this?
Well, most people, if they're devotees and they're asking, they want to know if there's another way of looking at what they're seeing. And when they hear that, since it's the truth, they become peaceful.
But what about the problem? What if it doesn't go away
The last
once
two,
they hear that Krishna is their friend?
I can tell you, two devotees who approached us in the last few days, both of them were relieved and grateful and began to look at things differently. It's a matter of being Krishna conscious. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if we accept that Krishna is the controller, if we accept that Krishna is our friend and well-wisher, and if we accept the fact that in the best possible consciousness, we want to do what Krishna wants, if we accept those three things, Prabhupada refers to it as the peace formula. If we forget that Krishna is our friend, we think he's in control, but he doesn't like us, we're going to be anxiety. If we think he's our friend, but he's not in control, then what's the use? Everything's going on and he can't help us. Or if we think he's our friend and he's in control, but we want something different than what Krishna wants, then we're going to be uncomfortable because what Krishna wants is going to happen. So that's what's recommended by Guru and Shastra. Remember those three things. And when people even just hear about it and remember it, they say, right, what was I thinking? Krishna's my friend. Krishna's in control. This, which we have a legitimate concern, but to become worried and distressed and have our mind all twisted, that's just ridiculous. It's not necessary. We repeat all the time, Dhanara Mara says, worry is not necessary. Worry is ridiculous. Worry is insane. Worry is sinful. Worry is an offense to Krishna because we think Krishna doesn't know what he's doing. So that's what I heard from my guru, that's what I repeat to people who ask me, and I found that it helps people. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. It answers my question and helps my, things I'm going through every single time.
We are
I
worryaholics.
go to you all the time and I hear the same thing, and somehow or other it works every time. How do you do that?
Truth is there. Scripture is there. And these are not me. It's not coming from me. I'm only repeating what I heard from Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. We see Madan Gopal Prabhu is here. Madan Gopal Prabhu, would you like to speak?
Hare Krishna, my obeisances. It's always nice to be here. Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. It's a lovely expansion on some dimensions that many of us are not aware of. So thank you. And I like your question about how can we help someone who's coming in pain or some problem. I think it's like the eternal question, isn't it? And I was reflecting that it's not the problem that's the problem, but it's our response to the problem that's problematic.
Very good.
So it's how we respond to it. So the real issue is misidentifying. Like Krishna says, this non-permanent appearance of happiness, distress. So it's not the heat or the cold, it's how we react to it. Similarly in life, it's not the financial struggle, the rejection, the illness that truly torments the soul. It's the mental reaction to it, the fear, the anxiety, the anger, the worry, like I was saying, born from attachment and falsity. Now, how can we help others in a practical way? So it's advised, and we see in Prabhupada's way of doing it is a compassion rooted in spiritual vision. It's not just superficial compassion. It's not cold spiritual philosophy. It's compassion rooted in spiritual vision. Instead of merely solving the superficial problem, we can gently help them reconnect with Krishna, the ultimate shelter. We might say something like, this is painful, but it doesn't define you. You are an eternal soul loved by Krishna. Like Prabhupada was saying, Krishna loves you. Or we can say, Krishna, he is with you even in this trial, guiding you towards something higher. Or we could say, let's sit down together, let's pray together, let's chant together, let's offer this pain to Krishna. So this way we can offer our compassion, helping hand, and shoulder to cry on, but in a meaningful way that connects to Krishna. So helping them remember Krishna, it changes the entire landscape of the problem. Suddenly the same challenge becomes an opportunity for purification, for seeing the purification inherent in the situation. It's an opportunity for the next level of surrender and deep spiritual growth. So in Krishna consciousness, if you come with the right approach, no circumstance, situation, or problem is without merit in terms of spiritual progress. We can make profit if you're smart. Smart traders, they make profit even in the downturn of the market, and also when it goes up. When it goes up, they make profit. When it goes down, they make profit. So similarly, devotees who are smart, who are in tune with the philosophy and in tune with Krishna's message, in downturn, they make huge profit in Krishna consciousness. And upturns also, they're filled with gratitude. So whatever it is, at the end of the day, the amount of profit in terms of spiritual advancement and surrender that one collects, it's immense. So everything can be leveraged to move forward. Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
In my own experience being in distress, I found myself turning to my older godbrothers, literally in tears. And I found that those circumstances brought me closer to them. And it says, we just read yesterday in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in Prabhupada's purport, he quotes that verse from the 7th canto, Nashammati stavada rukamangrim. One must take shelter of a pure devotee who has nothing to do with this material world, but is simply engaged in devotional service to Krishna. So, by Krishna's grace, there are people available who are worthy of our trust and obedience and taking shelter of them. And we actually become closer to them when we appeal to them like a child. And they speak to us and help us see things properly. There's no problem, Dhanara Maharaj said recently, there's no problem. We create it in our mind. What's happening is we're seeing it as a problem, like Prabhu was just saying. It's our response to the situation that makes us experience distress. It's not the situation. Oh, glory to Prabhupada. Anyone speaking? Somehow we lost the thread here. Nanda Vihari, are you there?
I think he's stunned by a response and he's just processing it all. The depth of your compassion, Adi Prabhu.
Simple truth. As Krishna consciousness and there's the lack of Krishna consciousness. If there's no Krishna, we're in trouble. But he's there. He's in control. He's our friend. And we're meant to please him. We're meant to please him. Sometimes we want spiritual life to manifest the way we prefer. And that puts us in an antagonistic position to what Krishna wants. We're rebellious. We're recalcitrant. I don't know if I said that word right.
Madan Gopal Prabhu, do you have something you can share about Ganga Puja and Srimati Ganga Mata Goswamini?
Well, I have Krishna Daya Prabhu with his hand up, so perhaps Krishna Daya Prabhu can share something.
Oh, he already did.
No, he was going to say something else. He had just his hand up a second ago. So.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
No, bro. Actually, I have a question. I wanted to direct it to you, but I think this is more relevant to discuss about Ganga Puja and Ganga Mata Goswamini. My question was like same what Venumadri Devi she raised, like maybe at a high level, what is the difference between the Sri Bhashya and Govinda Bhashya? But yeah, this may be more relevant.
Well, I unfortunately missed a lot of the class from Krishna Daya Prabhu, so it'll probably, I don't know that much. I do know that Mother Ganga and Ganga Mata, they hold the deep spiritual, cultural, and theological significance in our tradition. Ganga Devi is not just a river, of course, the divine personality who is the manifestation of divine mercy. There's actually by Shankaracharya, the Ganga Stotram, where she is described as giver of liberation, moksha. And her very touch represents the power of devotional service, bhakti, to wash away material contamination. Interestingly, even scientists have found there's something unique about the water in the Ganga. Like Ganga just cannot be, like anything that's pathological or pathogenic perhaps is immediately purified in the Ganga. Like it doesn't spread diseases and things. It's the nature of the water. There is some research. They found some of the reasons why that is, and Ganga has certain elements that no other river seems to have in that much abundance. So it has a purifying effect even on the measurable biological level. What to speak of of course, the spiritual effect, you know. And Ganga Puja matters because it's an act of surrender, the representation of the Lord's mercy. It's time to bathe the mind, and it's an opportunity for us when we take a bath in the Ganga. It's an opportunity to let go of resentments, anxiety, and pride. Resentment, anxiety, and pride are washed away with great ease in the Ganga. They're soluble in the Ganga water. So Ganga flows downward with surrender, and so we can also lower our ego to receive this divine upliftment. It's a day to meditate on her descent, her flow, and embrace all beings. And we can pray that may your current flow in my heart as a stream of devotion. Like even Queen Kunti, she mentions Ganga in her prayers. If you know, Queen Kunti is a very famous, right? Maybe Krishna Daya Prabhu might have mentioned it. I don't know if you mentioned it. It's a very famous verse. And she said, may, just like the Ganga flows, so much force, may my love, my devotion to you, O Lord, flow with that much force, unimpeded. So meditation on Ganga can be done at so many levels with the mind, and of course the actual Ganga, and if you have Ganga water, or you can invoke Ganga in the water that you have available to you. That's what we do every day, right? Gangecha, Yamanecha, Godavari. We invoke all this, and she's the first one on the list. She's the most important, you know. Ganga, Yamuna, both. And so we're fortunate to have access to these divine rivers, these divine personalities, here in the physical form, and we can meditate on them. And then we can meditate on other verses in Bhagavatam that mention how devotees, those are pure devotees, association with them is even more powerful than, more purifying than Ganga. Because in one sense, it said that Ganga only after many, many uses do you get some effect. With devotee association, even just one moment of association gives you just as much lasting purification. So we can be glorifying Mother Ganga on this day, completely meditate on her waters, drink a lot of water today. It's Nirjala Ekadashi tomorrow. So this is how we do it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Thank you, Adi Purusha Prabhu. Thank you very much, Venu Madhuri, for speaking. Would anyone else like to add? Krishna Kumari put something very profound in the chat. She says, worry is a waste of time. It's a waste of our energy. Time we can be focusing on Krishna. Thank you, Krishna Kumari. Min has her hand up, followed by Narottam Nitai Prabhu.
Thank you. I just wanted to share that one of my dearest teachers recommended me to read the Nectar of Instruction, actually. And so I've been reading that book, and it's been really blowing my mind. And in relation to this topic of worries and chaos in our mind, one of the things that I heard from Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says that surrender means that one has to become confident in Krishna. And, that's such a hard thing to do for me. How to become confident in God and Krishna, that I'll be taken care of, that I'll be protected at all times. And then Prabhupada says that love of God or this devotion to God is the devotional service is not matter of sentimental thinking or speculation, that it's and it's not imaginative ecstasy, that this is an action, that its substance is the practical activity. And I've been thinking about this, sitting on this, because I can't really say that I have amazing devotional service that's, in my life to Krishna yet. So I'm thinking, I thought that maybe this practical activity can also take place in our inner world, where, because I see myself contending with this topic so much, like most of the day, like how can I surrender to God? And it's just so difficult. And I feel like in many ways I'm kind of in some kind of training, actually. I'm not really sure for what end or what purpose, but like I feel like I'm just kind of in training. So this activity of the inner world, to me seems like I think about God and how question myself, like where am I in my spiritual practice, and how can I get close to God, has been such a big thing in my days. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Min, for sharing. You have something beautiful to say every single time. Thank you. Narottam Nitai Prabhu, are you ready? If not, yeah, he's ready. Go ahead.
Nonetheless, Hare Krishna. So I really appreciate the shares, and especially what Min shared right now. And one of the aspects of surrender is progressive surrender, and we surrender more and more every day by chanting and other devotional activities. So one approach in progressive surrender is just from where we are, approaching Krishna. Like for me, I have the academic, or many of us have the academic training. So reading Srila Prabhupada's books systematically, and that's one way of progressive surrender. And then just being engaged in the sangha and other things. So the reason I say that this way is because um you know the more progressive we surrender, the more we'll be able to every moment think of Krishna and surrender to him. And in every aspect of our life, and we'll be able to really plunge ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Whether like I have a desire to join the New York City Harinam party, but I'm not at that point of surrender to be able to do that. But I can at least strive. I can keep that as a goal and reach the Prabhupada's books systematically daily, and get closer and closer to that surrender point. And the intensity does increase, and the way we think about Krishna consciousness, keeps progressively getting higher and higher. So it's a great journey. But yeah, that's one thing I think we have to us as Srila Prabhupada's books is that a lot of the devotees earlier didn't have access to all of Srila Prabhupada's books right away. So that's something we have to prepare for. That's just what I wanted to share. This is a progressive surrender approach, even if it's from like an academic point of view. Um, you know, reading Srila Prabhupada's books progressively, that can also work. And that's
Thank you, Prabhu. Reading Srila Prabhupada books is the essence. Books are the essence. Okay, here's Vasudev Prabhu blowing the conch for Krishna. Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu, for facilitating the darshan. Please unmute yourself so we can hear. Adipusha Prabhu, unmute. You are muted. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Brief darshan. Oh, hold on. Sakar Prabhu is channeling the darshan. Thank you, Sakar Prabhu.
The lotus feet of us I have some of this was great all reference. But
Jai Shri Radha Muralidhar Shri Guru Chandra Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So tomorrow is Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi. It's the biggest Ekadashi of the year. And since we join the movement every day, since we just joined this morning, Madan Gopal Prabhu, would you like to maybe explain the glories of the Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi so we can prepare mentally and physically, and maybe even make some adjustments for those of us who have a 9-to-5 job, how to follow it properly?
Hare Krishna, yes. This Ekadashi is, like you said, one of the most important and spiritually powerful Ekadashis on our calendar. And the glories of this day, they're found in many Puranas, especially Padma Purana, where Vyasadeva is talking to Bhima. Not our Bhima Prabhu, although that's also possible, but our Bhimsena from the Mahabharata. See, Bhima Prabhu is not here today. Now, Bhima, everyone knows, Bhimasen was known for his appetite. And of course, Vyasadeva himself, I can't fast like my brothers, Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadev. I just get too hungry. So give me, but I want to follow Ekadashi. I want to be a devotee, you know. So Vyasadeva said, okay, just fast completely from both food and water on this one day. That's equivalent for you to observe all these 24 Ekadashis of the year. So he did accept this challenge and he strictly observed. So it's possible. Now, observing Nirjala grants the merits of all the other Ekadashis combined. It's according to Padma Purana, destroys all the sins, including those that are very difficult to overcome, brings spiritual advancement. Now, it is recommended to abstain from water, of course, from sunrise until the next sunrise, and read especially Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and increase devotional service. Right? Now, for devotees today, it's an opportunity to reset our sadhana, you know, a day for deep engagement. It's a way to cleanse our karma and spiritual stagnation. Like if you decided, oh, from today, I'm going to chant really deeply. At least 4 rounds would be super rounds, like something like that. You can make a sankalpa on that day because it's a cleansing effect. And we can pray. Prabhupada recommended strongly we should pray like this, that one day, just one day, oh Lord, let me try to serve you with full heart, full attention, and no distractions. So there's also a fire that lights in the digestive system, right? When we don't eat something, we feel that fire vibration. It's like a self-cleaning oven. I don't know if you've ever used a self-cleaning oven cycle. It's the highest heat temperature, and there's nothing in the oven. So what happens is that all the stuff that's baked on, it gets turned into ashes and just falls off. And even biologically speaking, it's very cleansing and purifying. It resets your body, increases your T cell count. You know, about a few years ago, some Japanese scientists actually got a Nobel Prize discovering that every two fasts a month increase the T cell count to the point that you won't get cancer, you know, something like that. So even just biologically speaking, it comes to bear that our system of Ekadashi is very scientific, even just saves you from so much misery later on. But to answer your question about what of those of us who are working, especially working outside or working, say, in hard physically even, it can be very difficult. So then we just observe like regular Ekadashi. You know, we minimize, say, if regular Ekadashi eating all kinds of Ekadashi items, maybe you can minimize it only, say, raw foods or like a few fruits and some fruit juice. If that might be a little more austere than you normally do, so that might be an option if you don't have any options. So there's different ways you can adjust, but definitely you want to observe Ekadashi. Prabhupada wasn't particularly insistent that we do very heavy austerities, And so neither do we advise. We try to stay in line with Prabhupada as much as possible. At the same time, he was pleased when devotees tried to do a little bit more, but he wasn't insistent. So both are there. You see. So that's why he gave us a lot of leeway based on understanding where we are. We also have a better sense of our own bodies and our own minds, especially when we fast, and our minds also can be disturbed. So we have to adjust based on what we can do. Certainly, we should not feel guilty, and we should certainly not judge others. It's a day of deepening our prayer. It's an opportunity to come out of a rut and maybe develop some good habits. So if you have anything on your bucket list, or one day I'm going to develop a good habit of chanting at least a few very good rounds, well, this is the day to do it. Might as well, because your body's being shaken up. So there's some few tips I can offer.
Thank you, Madam Gopal Prabhu. Very practical, very accommodating. Thank you. Best time to chant Sarat Prabhu is in the morning, but do your best. The earlier, the better. Jai. Okay, thank you very much, dear devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam, King of Books, Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, Ki Jai. Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi, Ki Jai. Everybody on this call and outside too, Ki Jai. Sarat Prabhu, check 1, check 2. Please unmute yourself and say Hare Krishna.
Shri Krishna Govinda Ananda Bihari, He Nath Narayan Vasudevai, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Wow,
Lots
beautiful.
of Krishna love to all of you.
Thank you, Sarat Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.